I think it's safe to say at the moment, I'm obsessed with FNAF. Bro, this game came out when? In 2014. What was I doing in 2014? Well, I just graduated high school. I was a pothead, and I was trying to become a rap star. I was doing nothing with my life. I wasn't doing 5 nights at Freddy's. I was doing 5 years of nothing with my life. But here we are. It's 2025. I had to look at the year, bro. What's wrong with me? And I'm turning 30 years old in 2 weeks. But here we are. Y'all told me to check this video out by the game theorist, Matt Pat. You said the last video wasn't updated. This one's more updated, and we're gonna check it out. Let's do this shit.
Today, we end the torment. 19 books, 11 games, 8 whole years.
My God. Oh my God, I have to do 11 games of this? I could barely get through the first one.
Oh,
by the way, 2 gameplay videos of FNAF are on this channel. We're gonna finish FNAF. We're gonna do all the nights on stream sometime this week, me and my wife.
Leading to this moment. The ultimate FNAF timeline is finally complete. The pieces are in place for us.
Bro,
now,
how big is this timeline?
Put the story of tragedy, jealousy, and loss back together. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory.
Bro, this dude in the video is running for president or some shit right now. Holy shit, what time could do, what 2 years could do to a person. God damn, bro.
The show
That's
that feels
crazy.
like a kid revealing the class project that he's been
Look, it's the next president, Matt Pat.
working on all year. Except here, it's the class project that I've been working on for the past decade of my life. This one is big, my friends, and I gotta admit, kind of nervous. I haven't attempted.
He's been working on this as long as my hairline's been going back, bro. When he started working on this, I had a full head of hair. My hairline was like here, bro. That's crazy.
The timeline video on this franchise since 2018. Back in the days when Mike was the crying child, Afton coming back was actually a surprise,
Oh,
and
Shaggy.
Phasgoo wasn't a phrase I'd ever
Phasgoo.
thought I'd have to utter. But since the last time I did something like this, we've had 3 more massive games, the death and
I didn't get there
revival
yet.
of the FNAF movie, and more robot kids than you can shake
Yo,
a
we gotta
staff
watch
pot
that
at.
movie, man.
It is exhausting trying to keep track of this whole franchise.
We gotta watch
which
the
honestly
movie.
is
I don't know if it's good or bad, but I like bad movies, and if it's good, that's even better.
I'm here today. The lore at this point is complicated. It is full of speculation and theory. So to hopefully make it a little easier for everyone and to give us all a baseline to talk about this franchise moving forward into the future, it's time to reveal my current working FNAF timeline. But just before I do, I just want to explain a couple of things. First, this timeline is massive. Seriously, it is huge. This thing towers
Bro, it looks
over
longer
any
than the
video
timeline
project
of my
we have
life.
ever done on the
What
channel.
the fuck?
But when you look at the totality of this franchise, the story of FNAF really boils down to the
How many
story
characters
of
are there? I
one
thought there was
man, William
5 of
Afton.
them.
His successes, his failures, his rise to becoming co-owner of one of the most successful restaurant franchises in the world, and his eventual fall to the monsters he helped to create.
Okay,
only to
I know
then
that
be
much from the
reborn
last
in a new
video.
digital form later. That's why I've decided to split this timeline into 3 main
3
chunks.
eras.
The foundation of Freddy's, how the business started and how it came into being, the Afton era, William's decades-long murder spree, and post-Purple Guy. Basically modern FNAF. Everything that happens after the Pizzeria Simulator fire. And because there are lots of new big revelations in this thing that
post-COVID timeline and PPG, bro. Post-Purple Guy.
seemingly come out of nowhere, as well as just points I want to talk about.
I'm ready to be lored up, bro. Lore me up. Put that lore up my ass.
I originally wanted it to be one seamless, continuous video, but it just felt incomplete.
Nah, bro, we
without
need
some
the
sort of
views. Come on, split
explanation
this
at
shit
the
up
end of
in
each
3.
one. Once this whole thing's done, I promise I'm
You
gonna
deserve
merge
it, bro.
all the
Taking
narrative
like
bits
3
into one
decades to do
massive
this
video
shit.
so you can just skip my explanations. But for now,
I'm not
this
skipping
just felt
shit.
like the best, most satisfying, most
I'm a sponge,
complete
bro.
way
I'm
to do
absorbing
this.
all of the
That being
FNAF
said,
lore.
This is
Come on.
still about the story, the broad strokes of the franchise. So in order to make sure that you guys know that I'm not just pulling answers out of thin air, not only am I discussing some of the more controversial
Bro, I'm
bits
not
that
gonna
you guys
lie.
know
When I saw this picture as a teenager, I thought it was like a spin-off Toy Story series or some shit.
the broad
I thought it was like in the same universe, but like different toys. Like, you know Sid from Toy Story? Like his toys had like a show or some shit.
strokes of the franchise.
You know what I
so
mean?
in order
I mean,
to make
I'm
sure
not
that
that
you guys
far
know
off.
that I'm not just pulling answers out of
He
thin
was a
air,
little
not only
psychopath.
am I discussing some of the more
I was scared
controversial
shitless
bits
of
at
him.
the end of each chunk, we're also putting in a handy little graphic in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, which will show thumbnails, video titles, books, and any other citations that we need throughout the
Bro, I
video.
need this
So if you wish
editor.
to understand
Goddamn.
that specific statement in more detail, you know exactly where we've taken it from. That way you
Springtrap?
can look into those details for yourself. So sit back, grab
Sounds
some popcorn
juicy.
or your pitchforks if you're the type to get upset
Sounds
when I
bloody.
say something controversial, and make sure that you subscribe, since this is going to be a video that you're going to want to come back to a few
Bro,
times.
he says
in order
subscribe and the button lit up. Wait a minute. What the fuck?
Grab some popcorn or your pitchforks
No
if you're
way.
the type to get upset when I say something controversial, and make sure that you subscribe, since this is going to be a video that you're going to want to come back to a few times in order to fully dissect. Without any
I gotta
more
start
waiting,
saying that. Subscribe. Bro, is the button glowing? Subscribe. Is it glowing?
present to you
That's
the story
crazy.
of a loving,
Is that
obsessive
new?
father who slowly descended into madness, and along the way discovered the secret to eternal
Hey,
life.
yo. I gotta stop, bro. It's 7 in the morning.
Our story begins not in the 1980s.
I'm over here biting my mouth, bro. Biting my lips to a fucking animal.
Or even in the 1970s, but all the way back in the
30s.
1930s. It was the throes
Bro,
of the
this is
Great
my
Depression.
grandpa.
People were in desperate need of cheap entertainment,
My
especially
grandpa
in Utah,
was into
one of the
FNAF.
states hit hardest. 4th highest unemployment in the nation and full of transients. People looking for work in Salt Lake, finding none, and ultimately moving on to find their fortunes out in California. People were tired and they were hungry, but as they traveled, there was one thing that could lift their spirits.
FNAF.
A simple roadside attraction called Fredbear's Singin' Show.
Oh, wasn't
Ads
that
were
far off.
plastered all over town, featuring an animated bear drawn in the popular pie-eyed cartoon
Where could
style
you
for
go
characters
wrong?
at the time. He resembled cartoons like Mickey
Look at that
Mouse,
cute
Felix
bear.
the Cat, Betty Boop. It immediately said that this, Fredbear's, was a place where you could bring the family.
I would definitely bring my family here, bro. Just look at that bear, man. But if I go there and there's no bear singing and dancing to me, I'm burning that place down.
And the price, honestly, couldn't be beat. For 50 cents, you could get food and entertainment as you watched
50 cents, you could get food and entertainment. You know what 50 cents gets you nowadays? I don't think it gets you anything.
the local trained real-life dancing bear perform on stage.
You know what's cheaper than 50 cents? Subscribing to this channel.
Normally, you only got to see dancing bears at large traveling circuses like Barnum
Like
and
the
Bailey,
fucking
where the
video,
tickets
too.
would go for about $1. That's $1 without food. But this was a smaller show, like the type from the
Can we
Von
go back to
Brothers
this?
or the Robbins Brothers, where tickets would sell for just a mere
I don't think
50
anything
cents.
costs $1
Watching
anymore.
that bear do tricks on stage
Look at
brought a
this bear, it's
glimmer of
adorable.
joy at a time when
Surely
so much
they
was
didn't
wrong
abuse
with
it.
the world. The simple show would go on for years, bringing happiness to hundreds of travelers passing through looking for a quick meal. But it left a
I feel so
permanent
bad for that bear.
impression on one little boy.
Just let it eat people alive in the fucking forest, bro. Why you have it dancing on a ball? It's not a stripper.
Capturing his imagination in a way that nothing else had. One little boy named Billy. That
I have never met a Billy in my life that wasn't psychotic. It's to the point where if I meet a Billy, I distance myself.
was his nickname,
If there's any Billies out there, I'm sorry. I just want nothing to do with you.
at least, but his parents
Fuck
like to
all
call
Billies.
him William Afton.
Yeah, like why you go from William to Billy? Like how is Billy short for William? Wouldn't it be Willie? Like come on, what the fuck is this Billy? Where does the B come from? That's what I mean, bro. It's weird.
Bear could dance. It could sing. For decades, William dreamed of recreating that moment of bringing a musical bear to life, but how? William was smart,
wholesome.
without a doubt, and he had a keen mind for business, but he wasn't the most creative. How do you make a singing, dancing bear come to life? The best he could do was using rudimentary costumes. William
This
was
is
inspired by the
crazy
work of
lore.
Walt Disney, who throughout the 50s and
You know what he's like? He's like if Walt Disney was a terrorist, you know, or like in a psych ward, like Walt Disney in a psych ward in a straitjacket. That's Billy.
60s was pioneering the use of mascot suits throughout his theme park. The big innovation? Suits with 5 fingers. This allowed the performers wearing the suits to use their natural arms and hands to interact with the guests, as opposed to the older models where the arms would just hang limply by their sides. Finally, with a simple mascot suit, he would be able to realize his childhood dream. He would be able to bring Fredbear to life. To appeal to the kids, and for copyright reasons, he changed Fredbear from a realistic brown animal to a cartoonish yellow bear with a
I knew Winnie the Pooh copied something. Holy shit, they copied William. No wonder why he became a psychopath and he started killing children, bro. Disney stole his shit. They stole his shit and they made fucking millions off of it.
purple hat and bow tie. But feeling like one character wasn't enough, he added another friend.
I would have done worse. This country wouldn't be here anymore, bro. It would have been like the fucking dinosaurs.
A yellow rabbit with a purple vest and matching tie named Bonnie the Bunny. While Fredbear was certainly his first love, Bonnie was extra
Yo, Bonnie the Bunny, bro. Bonnie looking like a pothead, bro. Looks like about to sell me weed, bro. I'm about to pull up at his apartment and he's gonna give me like a little box with a pound of weed in it. Damn, bro.
special because that was his. It was an original character that he had created from scratch. And I do mean scratch. William's hand-sewn costumes were rough with seams and stitches visibly showing, but it was the best that he could do. And you know what?
Now he's sewing children.
Bonnie and Fredbear would perform on stage to small but enthusiastic crowds. Finally, he was able to deliver fantasy and fun to all the kids, delighting and inspiring them in the exact way that he had been delighted and inspired.
I want to go to Bonnie the Bear. I want to go to Freddy's house. And then they fucking die. Oh my god.
So many years ago, and things could have ended there. That could have been the end to
it ended there for the children.
His story. It could have been perfect had it not been for one thing. Other people saw the success of his idea and they wanted in. Enter Chica's Party World, a rival restaurant starring performing animal characters. His idea.
Hell no. Oh my god. I would have become Kim Jong-un, Putin, Trump combined. They would have formed like fucking Gurren Lagann, like Transformers, bro. Fuck that.
Except they did it better. William may have been the first, but obviously he wasn't the best. It hurt the prideful William Afton to admit it, but this restaurant was able to do the thing that he always wanted to do.
They stole his idea. No wonder why he did all this. You know what? It's justified.
The performers in this restaurant were robots, simple metal skeletons that were powered by battery packs, but all of them able to freely turn and talk and dance on their own, no human required. It was like magic that came from the mind of a brilliant named Henry Emily. This Henry, in some small
fuck all Henrys
way, had
and Emilys.
Able to harness the power of life itself. Afton admired
fuck him in his Farmer Joe shirt.
Sure, but he also looked upon this man with awe. Off to one side of Chica's Party World was a small cabaret stage featuring an elephant magician.
Bro, his nose looks like a bong, bro. I'm about to rip it.
On the other, a hippo known to ramble on and on. That one was more of a joke for the parents, but it was the main stage that was for the kids.
Bro, these are
band
ugly.
of characters featuring a yellow Chica thing with a southern drawl named Chica, backed by a band of other country-themed characters, including a pig with a banjo.
The fuck happened to Peppa Pig, bro? This looks like Peppa Pig as a crack addict.
An upbeat frog from the local swimming hole, and a brown bear with a heavy southern accent. Wait, a bear? But bears were his animals.
You know what, man? I wouldn't be surprised, or I wouldn't blame Purple Guy for making every person red. Just making everyone bleed to death. If somebody stole my idea, oh my god, bro, that would be it. That I'd be, bro, jail wouldn't even be enough for me. Like it would be, hell would be scared of me. Like, there's no telling what I might do, bro.
Why not
the
a
devil
cow
would be fear
or a
me.
horse?
He
Something
would
to
fear
fit
me.
the country theme a bit better. Why did it have to be a bear? And adding
out of all the
insult to
fucking
injury,
animals,
they had the nerve to call this thing Ned Bear.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Direct copy of his own Fredbear.
Hell no, bro. I would have stacked up like it's the end of the world, bro. I would have had an artillery ready.
Oops, that's gonna leave a mark.
No, that was not okay. Afton's jealous admiration turned
my background will be guns and swords and bombs, bro. I'm going crazy tonight.
To hardened bitterness. A bitterness that would only grow
going to New York with a rocket launcher.
As families continued to choose Chica's Party World over Fredbear's.
Hell no, bro. You know what I do, bro? Frag out. Right through the fucking front door.
William just couldn't compete with the appeal of the robot. Eventually, his restaurant would go bankrupt, only to get bailed out by, of course, Henry Emily. Another insult, another humiliation that William...
My man used his idea money to bail him out.
Despite
what kind of fucking mind game is this?
Bitter, Afton couldn't deny that what came next was a period of massive success and expansion. With the two franchises now merged into one, it was the best of both worlds. Afton's ideas with Henry's robotic expertise. The two men decided to launch...
That's right, get close to him and then kill him.
Under a new name, Fredbear's Family Diner, a pizza chain that would eventually come to feature a mix of humans in performing suits as well as on-stage animatronics. They decided to stick with Fredbear as the headliner, considering the yellow bear was easily identifiable as a brand and because he was the original performing animal mascot. Afton appreciated that. This new restaurant would also see a mix of characters as the two franchises merged into one, with Pig Patch and Happy Frog performing right alongside Fredbear and Bonnie.
Bro, that hippo is freaking me the fuck out, man. Oh my god, get out of here. Stop looking at me.
And as part of this one big Fredbear family, they even got themselves official merch that were released, ranging from masks to magnets.
Who would buy a hippo mask?
Mr. Hippo Fridge Magnet?
I am sorry, Gregory.
That said, not all the characters were winners. The reception to some characters was just mediocre, so they faded away into the dumpster, storage units, and
good!
retro budget tech
Get the
stores
fuck outta here,
lost
Mr.
nostalgia,
Hippo,
waiting
you're
for their
ugly.
chance to step back into the limelight if and when a headliner went out of commission. Others, though, would fare much better, like a new Pirate Fox, as well as a blue guitar-playing variant
See, that's cool. The Pirate Fox is pretty fucking cool.
into the yellow Bonnie.
Hell
Bunny.
yeah, this
Ultimately,
is
the
cool
franchise
now.
would get so big it would spawn its own
You
cartoon
gotta make them fuckable.
show, Fredbear and Friends.
Girls went from fiending over K-pop stars and pop stars like fucking Backstreet Boys to animatronics, bro. W.
Franchise would get so big it would spawn its own cartoon.
The pop stars will break your heart. The animatronics will just break your fucking body in half.
Show, Fredbear and Friends. Business was booming. In the end, Fredbear and Bonnie's popularity would be so strong that they would be able to support the Fredbear's Family Diner franchise all on their own, while also spinning off a new sister location dedicated to their friends. In 1983, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza launched, giving a dedicated home to all this new supporting cast of characters.
Pineapple belongs on pizza. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Chica the Chicken, Bonnie the Blue Bunny, Foxy the Pirate, and of course the headliner, a brown Freddy
Yeah, bro, this is my group right here, bro. Fuck BTS.
Fazbear.
Hell yeah.
Business was good, and Afton was happy.
This is the OG BTS, bro. BTS fucking copied.
Mostly. It did bother him that the one original character that he created, the one that he himself played, Golden Bonnie, got passed over for inclusion in that cartoon show. The only character in the roster of regulars to get ignored for the show,
I'd
but
be mad
other than
too.
that, things were going smoothly. He had himself a wife, two
I go full Joker.
sons, a daughter, he had a thriving business, and best of all, he was
Purple girl.
able to learn the craft of robotics from the man that he both loved and hated, Henry. Together, they were constantly pushing the limits of what these characters could do. Because it was quick and easy, new characters introduced into the roster would be given a simple hand-sewn suit with 5 fingers that any performer could wear.
I hear hand sewn, and I'm just thinking of the most psychotic shit imaginable, bro. It's crazy.
A simple hand-sewn suit with 5 fingers that any performer could wear. Eventually, Henry would design one of his signature animatronics for that character, utilizing a divided mouth with either a hinged or sliding jaw design. This was the first generation of animatronics. But why
Come to the diner or the pizza place, guys. Insert your children inside the animatronic's mouth. They'll get a surprise.
stop there? Afton had
Heaven.
big ideas. What if the animatronics weren't just locked to the stage, but could freely
It's
roam?
the gate. They're the gateway to heaven, if you think about it. Look at the blood on his mouth. Wait a minute, or is that just a red glow? I don't know. Bring it back.
Afton had big ideas. What if the animatronics weren't just locked to the stage, but could freely roam the restaurant?
What if they
and
could freely
interact with
kill?
kids? What if his mascot suits could become animatronics? What if you could use more than just rigid metallic skeletons? Why not experiment with tubes and wires that would give the animatronics fluidity and flexibility while still providing structure?
no.
The possibilities for this
no.
technology were endless.
Move it!
Afton fell in love with robotics. He had started with a dream.
Oh, I thought they meant like he really fell in love, like he fucked them. I wouldn't be surprised at this point, bro. The guy stole his idea. I'd go mental too. I'd start fucking animatronics.
Of bringing one simple singing bear to life, but with robots, he had stumbled across the tools that gave him the ability to control life itself. And thanks to Henry, he was practically
Bro, people can have body pillows, but I can't fucking animatronic. Have you seen Bonnie?
speedrunning his way to an engineering degree. And while William wouldn't admit it out
And
loud,
Quacky.
one other
What's
thing
her
that
name?
kept pushing him forward was the desire to beat his former rival, to prove himself smarter and more capable, to surpass the man who everyone else considered to be a visionary genius. But pride cometh before the fall, and tragedy was about to strike. Okay, so that brings us to the end of part 1 of the story.
Death.
That said, at the end of each of these chunks,
I
I'm
want
gonna break down
death!
some of the logical leaps that I made, since the more narrative format doesn't give me much of a chance to justify a lot of the big decisions. And admittedly, there are some large leaps in here. Let's just start off with Fredbear's singing show, shall we? We know, based on the retro poster that was hidden in Security Breach, that at least at one point, Fredbear was an actual bear.
Oh, the cute little bear. He's gonna kill somebody. Oh.
And like I called out in that narrative segment, dancing bear shows were a real form of entertainment. The only problem is that, timing-wise, none of our main characters would be the people in charge of that business in the 30s and a series of pizza restaurants in the 80s without them just being extremely old. Best case scenario, if Afton's running the singing show when he's 18, that still puts him at nearly 70 when the first pizzeria opens.
Is he an alien?
opens and his murder spree begins. That just doesn't make a lot of logical sense because he doesn't become immortal until his first death.
He's immortal!
In Springtrap.
Yeah.
That's why I suspect that Fredbear's Singin' Show was either a family business that Afton then carried on to a new generation, or something that he saw as a kid and just wanted to recreate when he grew up. The Fredbear Singin'
It's the purple bloodline. It's passed on.
Show thing also starts laying the groundwork for some of the core elements of this story. That Freddy's was a place of fantasy and fun, and
Look, wait a minute. Bro, the fucking rabbit is purple. Does that have anything to do with it? Maybe that's his son. He fucked an animatronic. He fucked Ducky over here and made the purple bunny.
fun, and that Afton, despite eventually falling to become the heartless serial killer and mad
Chica. Bro, that would look sick.
Scientist that we know him as, began as someone with good intentions and a love of entertaining kids. He wanted to bring things to life from the very beginning, a theme that recurs a lot for him throughout the rest of the franchise. Next up, let's talk about those mascot costumes. One thing that I keep going back to is the design of
Purple guy did nothing wrong in the comments down below.
Glitch Trap. It's a handcrafted suit. You can see the seams and everything. It even has 5 fingers for the performer's
5 fingers, 5 Nights at Freddy's.
hands. It is very much
Bro,
not
everybody got 5 fingers. What am I talking about?
a Springtrap suit. This is something much more rudimentary. It came at a time before animatronics were a part of the story. That's why I suspect that it was actually the first, predating literally every—
Bro, they need an animatronic where it's just like the skeleton structure, right? Like, you see what's inside of Chica's mouth? Like, just that. No outer layer. Just the interior. What do you call it? No exterior, just the interior. Oh my God, scared the shit out of these kids.
everything. It's also a suit that is very personal to Afton. He put his digital consciousness in that form. It's his personal avatar. It's the way that he sees himself. There's also a whole
Have y'all ever put your digital conscience inside of something?
discussion to be had here about the habits and rituals of serial killers. So the fact that he's choosing to lure kids and kill them in this particular suit actually
Hi
says a
kids,
lot
let me eat you like a fucking carrot.
about his emotional attachment to it. So while Fredbear seems to have started as someone else's creation, Golden Bonnie was uniquely Williams, giving him a personal connection. And that's not all. In this whole franchise, only one set of characters have themselves 5 fingers, the Nightmares. Even Golden Freddy, Fredbear,
Bro, he kind of looks like the cupcake right there. The cupcake that's on the FNAF table, is that something?
was a 5-fingered wearable suit.
Wait a minute, what?
The Nightmares.
Oh my God, look at that.
Even Golden Freddy, Fredbear, was a 5-fingered wearable
Golden
suit
Freddy.
at one point in the story, as we see in this shot from the
Oh,
graphic
okay.
novel, before he, like everyone else, was turned into an animatronic. This seems to imply that all of the main
Let's eat, children.
characters had similar wearable mascot outfits at least at one point in time, and that
Okay.
whoever is having the FNAF 4 nightmares, if they even are nightmares, something that we'll touch on in part
Reality.
2, saw those mascot suits specifically. Lastly, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. The literal elephant.
Yeah, wait,
Orville
where the fuck did the elephant go? Orville.
elephant, as well as the rest of the mediocre melodies. For a while now, I've suspected that the mediocre melodies played a much more important role in the story than just being a bunch more animatronics to fill out the roster. Especially Ned Bear, which is just so suspiciously close to Fredbear. And yet, there are 2 key details that we're gonna have to justify with any mediocre melodies mention.
Fucking Walmart version of FNAF.
One, they're very rudimentary with external battery packs, implying that they come very early in the timeline. And 2, we know that, at minimum, Mr. Hippo does eventually become an official member of the extended Freddyverse. But if these things are supposed to be cheap, generic rip-offs, why would you be trying to rip off yourself? You wouldn't. You would be stealing someone else's ideas. So if Afton created Fredbear, there would have to be some rival franchise. The only other person who would likely be ripping him off? Henry.
Fuck Henry. There's only one name I hate more than Billy, and it's Henry. Fuck all Henrys and Billys. If there's any Henrys in this comment section, get the fuck out. You are not welcome.
Talked extensively about how the mediocre melodies are clearly Henry's
Rip
design.
off!
So it just has to be him. I don't think Henry's doing this maliciously. He doesn't strike me as the type. He was likely built—
He doesn't strike me as the type, bro. Look, where's his mustache at? What is this shit? Look at that pencil and look at his big ass ears, bro. What is that about?
the robots at the orders of someone else.
Shouldn't he be on the fucking farm, bro?
that was running a rival restaurant franchise. But that's enough motivation to start afting down a path
And look at those glasses, bro. Everybody that's evil has fucking glasses. Don't trust them.
of jealous rivalry, but also begrudging admiration. As the Freddy Files Ultimate Edition says, it's important to revisit the beginning of Henry and William's relationship, so here you go. I think this is where it begins. Also, this is future Matt Pat here coming back to add this one in. Seems like the recently released character encyclopedia has backed up all of this speculation. I've had this timeline written.
The official character encyclopedia? Do I have to start buying these fucking books? But I'd have like a FNAF reading stream, bro.
For about a month now, but I've also been holding off a bit to see what wrenches this character encyclopedia might throw into it. And on this particular point, I gotta say, it seems like we might actually have nailed it. They actively—
Bro, I wonder if you could buy these animatronics. You definitely can. Like, I'm not even lying, bro. I'd put them in the background.
call out the suspicious similarities to the main—
You know the kids that I have locked up in my basement? I'd put them in the animatronic suits.
Fred
We'd have real life FNAF.
Bear crew. Quote from one of the pages. Ned Bear looks like an imitation, altered just enough to avoid copyright issues. I don't know about you, but that seems to imply that we were right on the money.
Yep.
Knowing all
Perfect.
of this, at one point, the
Copied.
franchises had to have merged.
Fuck
That's
Ned
really
Bear.
the only way that you get Mr. Hippo from
Fuck all Neds, too. Neds, Henry, and Billy, bro. Fuck all of them.
the rival
Burn
franchise
in
as
hell.
part of the Fazbear crew. This also mirrors a lot of what happened in the
Fuck
real-life
Chuck E.
history
Cheese.
of Chuck E. Cheese, with two rival restaurants, each with their own casts of characters, merging to become one unified
Hell no, bro. My parents took me here. I'd wait till they're asleep and I get the fucking pillow and stop.
brand. Again, we've gone into that in detail
Bro, am I low-key a Billy?
with other videos, just wanted to remind you all of that here.
Man, this
But
is
why
fucking
did I
haunting!
call out the rival restaurant as being named Chica's Party World? Few things, actually. First, we know for a fact that a location named
More like Diddy Party World.
Chica's Party World exists. It is mentioned in the source code teasing sister location, so it is out there somewhere and doesn't fit cleanly anywhere. Second, in the story of the Puppet Carver, Chica is very explicitly looped in with the book versions of Pig
Guys, would you eat her cupcake? Let me know down below. I would.
Patch and Ned Bear, implying that she—
Bro, that fucking cupcake staring at me the entire time when I'm playing FNAF, and I can't fucking eat it. The game is torture itself.
He started as a mediocre melody. Thirdly, her design just fits better with a theme of down-home country animals with southern accents playing the banjo and eating with bibs. And with her being the headliner of the show with her name on the restaurant, it would make sense then that when the restaurants merged, she was the one that was added to the main cast of characters
Yeah,
and all the other
makes
mediocres
sense.
faded away. It's also why when Freddy's closes after William's killing spree, she's the one to branch back off into her old franchise.
Bro, this
and
all
is
makes
therefore
sense.
missing in sister location. A detail that's bothered me for
I don't know what this is. What the fuck happened, bro? What'd they do? They modernized the suits? What is this shit?
years at this point. It might also explain why William decided to stuff
They look
his first
uglier.
dead kid into Chica. That one was
We're gonna do that, bro. I'm telling you.
Henry's creation, not his.
So if you don't want your kids, bro, I'll give you an address.
Is all of this a big leap? Yeah. Is it connecting a—
That's fucking crazy that I said that. Oh my god, guys, I'm joking. Bro, I better not see kids in boxes on my doorstep.
lot of dots that are very spread out across the franchise that I've been holding on in the back of my mind for years? Absolutely. But I think it makes sense. It also serves as a clean answer to a lot of the random threads that Scott's been leaving dangling for years. So with all of that in mind, my friends, we can close the book on the foundation of Freddy's. And don't worry, next week I'll be back to give you our—
The foundation actually surprised me with the idea stealing from that fuck Henry.
arguably one of the most confusing
Pretty good
parts of this
video.
entire timeline situation.
I'm deep
Part
into this
2,
shit,
the
bro. I'm deep in the FNAF pussy right now.
Afton era. I promise, it will actually be next week this time. No more waiting around.
I'm waiting, buddy. What's next week? July, bro? I'm waiting.
I'm just
You better release that damn video or I'm reporting this.
as eager to get this one out
For
the door
assault.
as you are to watch it. I promise. You know what else I promise? I promise that we'll actually get to talking about the game.
You know what I promise? I'll do part 2 if you get this video to 12,000 likes.
I would have liked to have talked about him.
Subscribe. Did the button glow again? Unless you're on mobile, it probably didn't glow. So all this time I've been saying subscribe. Y'all probably been on mobile like, bro, is this guy crazy?
In this episode, but there just isn't that much in the games that helps us depict anything pre-Family Diner. Although, let's be honest, this franchise has never been just about the games.
What the fuck is that? Nah, I'm never playing a game with a baby in it that looks like this. And bro, hear me out about this one. Submechanophobia. Hell yeah, bro. Damn, choke me out. Shit, bro. What the fuck is Lally's game? This is actually the scariest animatronic I've seen, bro. I don't fuck with babies. Nobody should. Fuck with babies. Bro, that's a weird sentence. Stop. You know what I meant. You know what I meant. You know what I meant. Like, I don't do it, bro.
If we were decoding images and source code that Scott fed us through the website, the modern day books.
Hell yeah.
And the clues that we get from those things, now they're just modern extensions of that. All of it is crucial to understanding this franchise and its lore. And
I gotta meet this Scott Cawthon guy.
Us, of course, Steel Wool finally gets around to making that Fredbear's Family Diner game they want to make so badly.
I've always would love to do
is this him? Or is this Billy or Henry? Who is this?
I have no clue if we'll ever be able to do this, but getting back to kind of like the origin of like Fazbear Entertainment.
Bro, how did they not make a real life Fazbear restaurant? You know what I mean? Like, they should have made this. I bet they did. Like a pop-up restaurant, bro. Oh my God, bro. All the families would bring their kids, unironically. Like, I'd bring my kids, definitely, man. Especially if they piss me off. I'd be like, all right, kiddies. I gotta go to work. Have fun.
Freddy Fazbear.
But in the meantime,
see you when I die.
While we wait for that inevitably cryptic game, I hope that this
did that game ever come out
to fill in some of those gaps. I'm excited to share part 2 with you next week. If you haven't subscribed and rang the bell, make sure you do it now.
Ring the bell, guys. Subscribe and ring my bell. Don't ring his, ring mine.
When that part drops,
I want my bell to be rung.
Cannot wait to see your thoughts.
Tickle my bell, guys.
Below. And as always, I remind you, it's all just a theory.
I don't think it's a theory, bro. I think he's onto something. I don't believe that shit, that it's just a fucking theory. I love this series. I love this lore. This is so interesting to me. And I don't think it's a theory. I think this is all fucking facts. I want to keep going. So if you guys want me to keep going, which I actually am right now, but I'm not going to release the video till y'all give me 12K likes. 12K likes. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below what's your favorite animatronic. And it better not be that fucking baby or you're getting reported and blocked. Sayonara. Bye-bye.